Hi Flash Tube, it's Diane. Today is November 25th, 2023. Small Business Saturday, I think is what it's called here in the States. Thought I would do a video, probably do two different videos. One kind of this update video and then one looking at 2024 plans. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. This quilt is called Pine Tree Lane by Doug Leko. I did buy it as a kit, so it had all of the fabrics, and it does have the binding, which I think is this green here. I don't know the box. What you're sitting on. Yep, that's what it is this green right here. And what I liked about this is it was very easy assembly, with one exception I'll get to in a minute. I like that it's Christmassy, but it's in the tones I like. I like a little more classic look to it, but it's also fun. Now these blocks here, this part of the block, this is a panel, and the one exception I said was I thought these were all the same, as in this panel was always in, is that the southwest part of the block? No. Sometimes it's southwest, sometimes it's northwest, sometimes it is northeast, and sometimes it is southeast. So I was making them, and I did this first kind of log cabin row around, and I thought, doesn't look quite right. Yeah, you got to read the instructions. You're only supposed to make 4 of them this way, 4 of them this way, 2 of them this way, 2 of them that way, because there's 12 blocks total. Everything else is the same, size-wise and position-wise, in regard to where this guy is. Well, I couldn't just turn the block because of the printing, so I only had to take apart 8 of them, because I had all 12 of them done. But this whole quilt, it's a roughly 72 by 90, so it's a twin. I would say if you had done a log cabin-ish quilt before, you could easily do this quilt. It's all straight seams. There's no partial seams like my son's quilt that I showed last time. But the panel, it would be the tricky part, because I don't think these fabrics are available anymore. This part of the panel needs a 10.5-inch cut. So what you see in the quilt is 10 inches, because the rest is taken in by the seam allowance. So if you had a design or another panel that had big enough area to do this, you could easily do this quilt. These are mostly 2.5-inch strips, as in a roll was included. Some of them, there was one that I had to cut, but beyond that, they're all just 2.5-inch strips. And then you have the background fabric here that you have to cut into squares. And then it really went together. Once I fixed my boo-boo, it went together fast. Last time I showed it, I didn't have these 3 borders on, inner, middle, outer. But it really pulls it all together. And it's not quilted yet. It's pieced. I'm very tempted to hang this on my wall anyway for the Christmas season this year, because I'm not going to get it quilted before Christmas. If I put it up and I don't like it, then I will put my other one up that's currently hanging in the closet. I've shown it before. It's the blue, white, red one, with a big star in the middle. And I'll put that one up again, because that one's all ready to go onto the wall. And that one's more wintry anyway, so this is more Christmassy. That one is more... Oh, I so apologize. My allergies are still getting to me, because we haven't had a really hard freeze yet. I know it's coming. It's Minnesota. It always comes. That other one is more wintry, so I can have that one up January, February, March, May, because again, this is Minnesota. But I also wanted to show this guy. This is my Thanksgiving table runner I made a number of years ago following Missouri Star Quilt Company video tutorial on their channel. So it's a Dresden here, and then you do this part, and you could watch it on YouTube. It's a free pattern. And then this is just charm squares that I cut and then reassembled. I quilted kind of cross hatches, but like leaves. So there's a leaf here and a leaf here, and then cross hatch this way with leaves. So every block has a leaf in it, but sometimes it's going this direction, sometimes it's going the other direction. And what did I put in the outer border? Just kind of a swirl, random swirl. On the turkey himself, I tried to kind of mimic feathers a little bit. So it's a green thread and a green thread. And then I just went around his feathers, echoed those, and then there's just a general swirl. And I did that on both turkeys. Now I can't put this on my table because my kids would never leave it alone yet. It'll happen. So I tend to hang it. I have a rail and I hang it off the rail for Thanksgiving, but I got to put him away because it's after Thanksgiving. And here is my Christmas tree skirt. And this one is very simple. Again, Missouri Star Quilt Company. It's just 2 charm packs with an oddball in the center that you end up cutting out. And then you add a little border, a medium border, and this is the binding. And then you cut the corners. So you assemble it like a trip around the world quilt, if you will. And then you cut the corners. And that tutorial on Missouri Star Quilt Company on their YouTube channel, again, it's a freebie. This one I quilted. I did a crosshatch, and then I left this guy. I didn't quilt anything in here because it was pretty small. Did I quilt anything out there? I kind of echoed that border on the inside and the outside. And then on the binding, I did something on the binding. I did a specialty stitch on my machine on the binding. And then you have to cut it in a certain way. So I'd have bias binding for the part I cut, and that goes around the tree. So I have one tree up. I gotta get, I haven't put anything on it except it has just its lights. It's a pre-lit tree. So I like that green and white look. But yeah, I gotta put up the whole kit and caboodle this week. One of the reasons it's been a while since I've done a video is my stitching bug's been hibernating or something. I don't know why. I get a project out and get it all set up, and it's like, eh. And then I try a different project. Eh. I don't know. But I did start a new project. I thought, well, maybe I needed to start something. This was kitted, so I thought I'd start it. I didn't get very far before I lost interest. Not in the pattern, but just stitching in general. And it's Exquisite Lace by Works by ABC, Arlene Cohen. Can't remember if this was a market release or a fall expo release. I want to say it was market in March. It's all one color. I'm doing it on 40 count sage, right? It is a Fabrics by Stephanie. I picked it up when I was in Miami at this, Simply Sage. Is it 32 count? No, it's 40 count. At the Stitching in the Wild retreat in May. And I decided to go sideways down. So this is sideways. What do I mean by that? Instead of starting up here at the top, I turned it and I started here. And I'm going to work my way this way. When it gets turned back this way, my stitches will look opposite what I normally stitch, but if I stitch all of them this way, they'll all be going the same direction. So my bottom, my top. You turn it 90 degrees and it looks like it's going the other way. So if you ever do a group project and somebody else stitches this direction and you stitch this direction, turn the project in the pattern, and then when it's turned the correct direction with the top of whatever it is, all the stitches will look the same. I think that's the only quote-unquote rule in cross stitch, is try to have your stitches going the same direction for your basic cross. There are some specialty stitches. It depends on how the stitch is being used on how the final leg of the stitch looks, and it depends on your project. So I started that one and I didn't get very far, and I was like, hello. I started this one. No, I had this one started before. Did I not bring in the other one I started? I might not have brought it in. This one is Winterhill. Yeah, this isn't the one I worked on. Yeah, I started the one that had a black alphabet, but this is Winterhill by Rosewood Manor. I don't have much done. I think I've tried to find this one when I was making another video, and I just could never find it to show. It's this guy. But yeah, I must have left Autumnhill, because that is the one I started, was Autumnhill. I try to, this is Christmassy, so thinking winter. So I put it over here. Let me just check real quick. Okay, per usual, the hill that I want to show, I can't find. I can find the other three. Oh well, you'll see it when you see it. I don't have much done. I just worked a little bit on the alphabet. And again, just, I don't know why, but my stitching bug has just been on hiatus. My quilting bug was on a hiatus. I did the borders on this guy, and the quilting bug went, I don't know, they're on vacation together apparently. But I've been trying. And so the one that I've been working on the most, and I have the most progress to show, is Rosewood Manor, or Winterhills by Rosewood Manor, if you're not aware of that. Oh, feathers. This is on 36 count. Pearl gray. And I have added a lot. So I had these 3 circles done, and I had all this little frill stuff done here. And I had this stuff done. So I've added these circles, all of these orange flowers, and I've added all of these little heart flower looking feather thingies. Not sure what you'd call them. And I'm using the called for Sulkies. So I did add a lot. So I did make progress. But this one is put away for the moment. I'm going to work on the memorial piece for my aunt. And I'd like to get that one done. Her birthday is December 18th. And I'd like to get it done before then. I think that's all my stitching. As I said, I have not. Don't know. Sometimes it happens. But one thing I've done instead is done a little organizing. So that's what I'm doing now, is I was cleaning out this cupboard, and I thought, well, I am going to do a video before I put the stuff away. I did want to mention, if you have roller frames, and I have a project on this one. I do not have a project on this one. This is 28, and the other one, this one is 18. 16, 18, 20. This one's 20. So what if you're not, and I have the 16 out there, I'm working on that one, and I only have one set of sidebars, and what if you want to temporarily store a project? What are you going to do? Sorry. Okay. For my son. I was putting rubber bands on the ends, but the rubber bands kept breaking. So this is what I'm doing now. And these are just headbands. These don't break as easily. They can break, yes. But then I just go around it twice and it holds it so they're not falling apart, they're not getting bent weird. And that's what I have here. So it can hold, this is a Aquila. So it can hold a project for storage, you know, as you cycle through, however you do your projects. But it holds them, and then you can hold the colored pieces together that you need. And this tells you the size. This one's 23. Oh, sorry, 23. I thought it's 20, but this is 23. And that one out there must be 18 then. Yeah, this one's 28. Because I have a 23, a 28, and an 18. So, and if you don't know roll of frame, what does that mean? That means from here to here measures 23 inches. That's what the size means. But these hair things, and you don't have to loop them twice for the small ones, or these are medium, well, I guess it's medium hold, flat design. But really any of them like this, you know, this guy you'll have to go around a few more times. These don't break as easily as the rubber bands. So that was getting frustrating for me, so I wanted to share that tip. So if you have rolla frames, whether or not you keep a project on it or you just want to store them, might I suggest these hair things, and you can get them anywhere, fairly inexpensive. But that brings me to my next tip. Go to the Dollar Tree or dollar store. This time of year, they're selling these little tins for $1.25. I got this one, snowman. Store your supplies in there. So I'm going to store all these hair thingies because I use them for other things too, instead of rubber bands. Because, like, okay, these are what I make my floss tags out of. They're deck of cards, and I cut them in half. This one's not open yet. But when it's open, and if I don't use them all, you put a rubber band around there. The rubber bands can cut. So use that. I also use those for some school things, flashcards, because rubber bands, I was always breaking them. So I started using those. I was using them in my kitchen. I can't remember what I was putting together. But like index cards, anything that can cut a rubber band, use those instead of a rubber band. So these are $1.25, and this one I put some sewing supplies in. But they're just cute. You could also paint them. I'd rough it up and spray paint them if you wanted a different color, or maybe decoupage paper on them. You know, you could do whatever you want with them, but they're handy to store at $1.25. And this one's just a little bigger than this guy. So they're all different sizes. They're not all art shaped. Some of them are flat. Go to dollar store and get some. This time of year, they're Christmassy, wintry. I think that's all my tips of the day. But yeah, I've just been organizing and looking ahead to 2024. But I did participate in Black Friday shopping. Stitching wise, I went to Stitchville. Her Black Friday that she's had most years, although COVID was kind of wonky. But beyond that, she's had it most years. 20% off most items in the store. There's a few items that manufacturers do not allow you to discount ever. And then I think it excluded framing and some other thing. But fabric, fiber, most fibers, most patterns, 20% off. You can't do the frequent shopper punch card thingy, but that's okay. My friends gifted me a gift certificate for my birthday in July, and this is the first time I've been able to get down there to use it. And so I purchased this one. JBW Designs, Eliza's French Birds. I've had my eye on this one for a little while, and I did buy 40 count Newcastle Platinum and the Called for Colors because they were 20% off. And I went through I think I only had one of these Classic Colorworks. So I did that one. I also picked up number 5, 6, 7, and 8 of the 2023 Fragments in Time series by Summerhouse Stitch Works. I already have number 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I need to, ideally I'm stitching those for my kids for Christmas ornaments. I am so far behind. But that's okay. One year they'll get like 10 ornaments at one time. They're like, what is this? That's the last few years. I'm getting caught up. So that one I'm going to keep out. I also purchased the silks for Philadelphia Vine by Scarlet House. And I'm going to put that one here because that goes into my plans for 2024. As do these guys. Float, Sting, Heartstring Samplery, Plum Street Samplers. I found 2 pieces of 40 count Summer Khaki. Urduja. I found one floss for her that I just didn't have. And, oh, here we go. Did I say there's something else I bought too? This one, Walk Beside Me, which I purchased at Cecilia Samplers in Branson, Missouri. I got that, and then I got the fabric for it. 40 count light mocha. Sorry, my light is kind of washing it out. And there's one, I'm going to do the DMCs instead of the NPIs, but one of them is actually a Gloriana silk. So I pulled the Gloriana silk because Stitchville carries them. And I went to the Classic Colorworks and I found Ripple that looks a lot like the Cherry Tart from Gloriana. At least the dye lot they had there. So I'm going to use that. I thought it was on the house. But no, it's not. But I'm going to put that one there. My back is bugging me, so I'm not going to be walking around a lot. I don't know. It's just the joys of getting older. This is my New Year, New Start, Summer Quaker by Lula Studios. I have Spring Quaker done. And it calls for DMCs, which is what I'm doing it in, and Vintage Country Mocha. I can't remember if this spring is just Country Mocha or Vintage Country Mocha, but the colors just sing on that fabric. So I'm going to use that. New Year, New Start. And for 2024, these are the Christmas ornaments for my kids. The Polar Plunge series by Hands On Designs. Penguin Pear. Whale. Well, hello there. Wally the Walrus. Who did I see just posted on their floss tube? she's a southern lady. I could see her face and I'm blanking on her name right now. I want to say Nisi, but I don't think that's right.
Well, then why'd you ask me? Because I said everybody
Puffin Party and Polar Bear Peak. And I will be ordering, N is for Norwell. I went through my stash. I had like there's 12 colors, 11 colors. 11 colors. I had 7 of them. So then I pulled the DMC comparison on the other 4 and I just pulled other colors from my collection. So mine will look a little different. That's fine. That doesn't bug me. And I have 1 fat quarter. Well, it's a little bigger than a fat quarter of ice blue Belfast. I also purchased, because again it's 20% off. So I got the backing boards. There's 6 here. I have 14 children. So that's 12 and 18. So I have those, and I watched the tutorial that Kathy has on her floss tube. I think it's just hands-on design is on floss tube. And she walks through how she finished these boards for these projects specifically. So essentially there's 6 patterns. I'm going to have to stitch all of them twice and at least 2 of them 3 times. I might just stitch all of them 3 times. They're not very big. They're roughly 50 by 50. And give some away. I don't know. But the fabric I have is enough definitely for 6 of them. And then I'll just another piece of fabric. So essentially I might have 3 sets with 3 different background color fabrics, different threads. I don't know. But it'll keep my interest instead of doing the same thing over and over and over again. I don't know how Joan does it with her 9 grandchildren, and she makes the same Christmas ornament for all of them. Oh, this is a bag I made. That amazes me. But I don't remember if I showed this or not. If I did, sorry. There's some things in here, in this stack here I know I did not show yet. This was given to me. I don't know if I'm going to stitch them, but I'm thinking a future giveaway. Decorative hand towels, and there's at least 1 towel in here. Maybe there's 2 towels. 1 pair of decorative hand towels, so that'd be 2. It doesn't have the floss, but it has the pattern, color key, and they're printed, pre-printed. Angel of Love, lavender and lace. Angel of Hope, lavender and lace. I have these 2 patterns already, so these will be future giveaways because I know this one's out of print. I have not stitched this one, but I was thinking when I stitch it, I'm going to change the blue. I have seen this stitched on a light blue background. Oh, it was stunning, stunning, as charted. But I'm thinking I would want to change this to a I was thinking a coppery, bronzy color, and the beads in the center could be whites and blues, but she's not on my radar right now. This one was also given to me, and just to let you know, these were $6 when these were purchased. But these will be future giveaways. But this one I'm keeping. It's called The Bride. I have seen this one stitched, and it's breathtaking, absolutely breathtaking. So everything is DMC, so I might throw some silks in there or something. Depends on when I stitch it. But that one's going into my collection. This one will be a future giveaway, Village Green by Prairie Schooler. I'm not a country person. It's not my style. But I admire it. I like the clean look of it. I do like that. So these are future giveaways. running with scissors and threads. Running with needles and thread. Running with needles and scissors. Sarah Rickwood, she had this as a free download on her birthday. Get her newsletter. Get her newsletter. It's really, really nice. You're not sure what other patterns she's done. She did Beloved. That was such a huge hit at the market this year. And I don't own it. Keep looking at it going. So one of these times it's going to be a yes, and it will come home with me. Why am I kidding myself? But it was a free download on her birthday, which I believe was the 20th or the 21st of November. And so I have that. I do not have the Vicki Clayton silks that are called for in here. I've never stitched with those. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. I'll figure it out when it's time. What's this? Haul. The Ron Stitchery. He showed this in their video. It's fun. I've met him in real life. But of course, he put down that rabbit hole. A Winter Sampler by Barrick. And this one I've thought of for a long time, so I had pulled the trigger. Happy Christmas, Kathy Barrick. I will be stitching this one on Buttercup, 32 count by Fiberlicious. And instead of the DMC, because I'm not going to use NPIs, instead of the DMC black, I'm going to use Gloriana India ink. And instead of the B5200, I'm going to use Silk Lame braid. SP88. So I picked those up yesterday. I have to finish kitting them up. Happy Christmas is going to be, so I went shopping in my stash for the Buttercup. And I also went shopping for this. This is Picture This Plus Lucana Crystal Wren. It is here. I purchased this for another project a long time ago and just never did that project, so it's perfect size for this piece. And this will also use that India ink and the Silk Lame. And we'll see how far I get. This one's not huge. This one's bigger, but this one's not huge. And then Gary showed this one, the Yule Goddess by Tiny Modernist. And he said Jalapeño, right? No, it's on Grasshopper. But I had this one. This is Jalapeño. Yeah, 40 count Jalapeño. Fiber on a whim. It was a gift from my daughter last Christmas. And I have to check the measurements because I think I'd only use half of this for this piece. But I don't like the horns, so I'm going to leave the horns off. And I'll just fill this in like another holly leaf. Or just, I think she's pretty without the horns. That's just personal preference. But everything else I love. Very, has a Scandinavian feel to it. So I am in the process of kitting these items, putting them in project bags and doing all the things. So I thought I would do this video, and I will do another video on my 2024 plans. So as we look forward into December and Christmas and the new year, one of my sons will have surgery on the 12th. He has to have his tonsils out, and what else is going on? My daughter's moving again, and we had a good Thanksgiving. Beautiful weather. We had a snowstorm the day after Halloween, so the trick was on us, but that's only the snow we've really had. So I'm kind of nervous because it's Minnesota. It's coming. It's coming. Although last winter we had so much snow. It'd be nice if it was more average. That would work. Yeah, I don't know when I'll come back to do another video beyond my plans for next year, but I'm still trying to coax my Stitchy bug to wake up. It's funny because my mini dot, he prayed, yeah, help mom with her stitching. I was like, how do you know? But yeah, stitching is enjoyable, and when you your stitching bug is on a hiatus like mine seems to be, although every once in a while it shows up. You're going through this, just I unkitted a few things that I know one project I totally messed up on, and I've counted and recounted and recounted and trying to figure out where I messed up, because that error affects the rest of the pattern. I can't figure it out, and I'm like, oh, fine, I'll start it again another day. There's a couple of pieces I did that too. Christmas in London by Mirabilia, because I did not like the fabric that she was being stitched on. And there's another one over there. I need to do that too. But December looks pretty even, hopefully. Go to the chiropractor, get my back tweaked and back in order, and then I'll be good. But I'm gonna let you guys go, and I will do that next video today so I can get these uploaded. And if I don't see you before Christmas, have a great Christmas. Just enjoy kind of wrapping up 2024. Look forward to 2025. I know some of us have had difficult years, because I've had those too. But oh, and my cousin and her daughter, which I talked about when I was in Branson, she was in the hospital over Thanksgiving, the daughter, getting a certain treatment. I don't quite understand all of it, but she's only 15, so you can think about her. And my cousin, she's still recovering from breast cancer and surgery from breast cancer, and all her stuff's been clear, so that's good. And then the month after she had the breast cancer diagnosis, her daughter was diagnosed with leukemia. So I've been there. As a mom with a daughter with cancer, I've been there. I haven't had breast cancer. My mom has. And my stuff's clear. But as a mom whose daughter has gone through that, I understand that road, and it's hard. But if you have difficulties in your life, I would encourage you to keep moving forward. Reach out, talk to people. Just there's no substitute for talking to other people. And may 2024 be good for us. I don't know exactly what that means or exactly what that looks like at this point. I don't think anybody does. But I hope that this finds you well, and I will see you in the next video where I talk Whip Go, designer focus, etc. Bye for now. Love to you all.